Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Paul here. I figured it's been a while. I haven't been on camera, so here I am. My apologies. Um, no, it's been a while. I figured let me get on cam because I have some things that I really want to show you guys. Some new stuff, some updates, and some new experiments that I've been doing. So let's start with one of the new plants that I got. Now, believe it or not, I got this plant at a big box store. Okay. Look at this. Okay, this is a philodendron white princess. And the way that I know it's a white princess is because it has the petioles have that pinkish edging to them. See that in the middle there? This plant is beautiful, and it wasn't even that pricey. It was actually really exciting when I saw this. I said, "Mine." But just like always, I don't understand what goes on here. This environment, I don't do well with soil. I just don't do well with soil. Certain plants. I mean, obviously succulents, I can get away with it because I just let them completely dry out. Um, but look over here. Look at that leaf. See, this has been in my care. It's getting those edges. The new leaf that popped out on top. See that? The very tip got a little burnt. There was like some type of a mushy thing. No pests, no bugs or anything like that. But I don't understand why this happens in soil. So this is the time before I lose the plant. This is when I'd say, all right, let me take it out of the soil and either put it in semi-hydro, put it in water culture, put it in acrylic. That's the reason why I always do these experiments, because plants like this that you want to thrive and you want to do extremely well because they're beautiful. I always get some sort of issue going on. And I haven't even watered it that much. I maybe watered it once or twice since I've gotten it. And I've had it for a few weeks already. I wanted to wait to just see, to make sure that the plant's going to survive because you never know. But, and yes, my microphone's on a chopstick in case you're wondering. Yeah. So, I don't understand what it is. And it's always been like that here. I don't know if it's that there's not a lot of airflow in this house. I don't know. I really can't narrow it down. But all I do know is when I take them out of the soil and I put them in another medium like a semi-hydro or water or acrylic, they usually do a lot better. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but it's already starting to show signs that it's not happy in the soil. And it's interesting because this soil, I don't know, it's very fluffy, but waterlogged. I don't know how to explain it. I've only watered this like twice, so once or twice. I don't know what I'm going to do, but just get a load of these leaves. Look at this. Look at that. Wouldn't you be sad if a plant like this that you had started to decline for reasons that are beyond your understanding? So, yeah, I'll figure that out. But this gets indirect light, I guess kind of bright indirect light. It's not getting any light from the sun. It's near south facing window, but it's not getting any direct light from the sun. None of the sun doesn't come in the windows around this time of year, moving into summer, because the sun is directly over the house. So it just gets really bright, but it's not actually coming through the window. So again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm going to do with this either, but hopefully I will be able to figure something out because I love it. I love it. Look at that. Beautiful. I just can't get over the leaves. Anyway, that is my philodendron white princess. Next up, let's see. There's so many things I can show you. All right. So Multifllora, my Hoya Multifllora is in bloom again. Well, almost in bloom again. It's in bud. Look at this. This is like continuous. I think I mentioned this in the last video that I showed you guys this plant. It's really tall. It's staked up. Look at that. Let me get back here so you can see. Sorry about the glare. That's from the chandelier that's in front of me. But anyway, this plant, it would bud up like this, and before the flowers would open, it would always drop them lately, and not in the very beginning. And I think I realized why. Because I have this in a self-watering situation where there's a cord. I think it's like a cotton nylon cord or whatever that goes from the bottom of the plant that's in soil. I know. And it goes into this little reservoir in the cup, Taco Bell cup. And don't tell anybody. And so the soil was always kind of damp. And I think that was the problem, because now that I've been letting this completely dry out, it budded up really quickly. The buds are still healthy. None of them have fallen off yet. So I'm thinking that for this plant, at least in my environment, that's what's keeping the flowers intact and attached to the plant. I'll keep you posted if anything should change, but I'm excited because usually the way that it's been working out the last couple of bloom cycles is that they were like 3 buds that would actually open up. Everything else had fallen off already. So that was, I was in mourning for a while. It was very sad. But it looks like these are guys. Looks like these guys are going to hold on this time, and I'm excited about that because I love these flowers. They're just so cool. They're the shooting star. They call it the shooting star Hoya sometimes. Really pretty. And sometimes, lately it hasn't been happening, but maybe this time, if the flowers are healthier, the scent will come back because it has a beautiful floral scent. It used to have a beautiful floral scent when it would bloom and the flowers would hold on. But when they were falling off, they kind of had no scent. So wish me luck. Anyway, Hoya Multifllora, very excited. Here we go again, right? Let me move this out of the way so that I don't block the camera. What else? Okay, here's an update on, if you remember, this is one of my Rex Beagonia leaves that I put in water. And I just make sure that there's always water in the little cup. It's a little plastic shot glass. And I always make sure that there's water in there. Sometimes it would almost completely dry out, but I would catch it right before, because otherwise that would be the end of that. So the leaf is still very healthy. The mother leaf is still very, very healthy. But look at what I got. Got lots and lots of babies on this puppy. Look at that. This is what the leaf looks like, the Rex Beagonia. I think this is Red Bull. I think that's the variety. But look at all of these babies, all these leaves, and that root system. Now, I'm going to put it back in the cup to show you what it looks like in a little shot glass. This is all I do. Little shot glass like this. And as you can see, I'll take it out again for you. It has been doing phenomenally well. And because it is so healthy, these babies are so healthy, I'm keeping this one in water culture. I've had a lot of times where I got to the stage in water, and then I would transfer it to either semi-hydro or to acrylic or to soil. Never again. Or to moss. And for acrylic, I was able to keep it going, and then it would grow and it would be fine. It would take like a little, have like an acclimation period. But because this is doing so well, and look at that, I can't even tell you how many baby plantlets are there. There are a lot of plants growing out of the stem. I'm keeping it in water. I'm not even going to attempt to ruin my life by ruining this plant. So as you can see, it's doing really well, and I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited for me. Okay. Yeah. So that is my Rex Beagonia leaf propagation. What else can I show you? I got a bunch of things in front of me. I'm not going to show you everything because I can't hear myself talk for that long. I'm sorry. All right. In an old video, older video, I don't know, maybe last year or something, I had a Crypanthis plant that was really, really big and bushy, and it was orange. And one of my subs, friend of mine, Cindy, I said I wanted to keep it, see how big it would get. And Cindy was like, "Yeah, let's see how big it gets. Don't cut it up and propagate it." Well, it started to get to the point where the babies were getting very lanky and leggy. It wasn't getting enough light because I did not have any room on the south-facing window to give it some like direct sunlight to keep it going really strong. So I took all the pups off and I put them in water. Crypanthis in water. And it is a bromeliad, but it is a terrestrial bromeliad. It doesn't grow on trees. And being in water, look what I got. I got rootage. Look at that. Look at that. Who says you can't propagate bromeliads in water? Not I, said the wolf. So I'm keeping these in water. It has not lost one leaf since I put these. They were pups without any roots at all. They were just pups, bare stemmed, I guess you could say. They pop off relatively easy. The Crypanthis, so you get just like twist them a little and they pop right off. So I just popped them off. I put them in water and I crossed my fingers and I got rewarded with the roots in the water. So that's about the maximum amount of water I put in here. I don't fill it all the way up so the leaves are under, just the base of each of these plants, and it just grew roots right into the water, and it's growing new leaves, and it held on to the old leaves. They're all green now because it's not getting any sun, but I don't care. I got roots, and I got so many more plants than I had before. There are still 2 plants in the pot that these came from, like 2 I don't want to say that they're one of them is the mother plant because the mother pretty much declined all the way and had all these babies. But they're two pups. But those pups were kind of coming out sideways, so they rooted into the soil in the pot. And I didn't want to pull them out and then try to continue rooting them in water because they're soil roots. And I'm not as familiar with rooting bromeliads in water or growing them in water, um, especially terrestrial bromeliads. So I left them in the pot, and they don't look nearly as good as these guys. I'm just going to say it. So they're just kind of hanging on. Um, I do have an option to take them out of the soil and then cut off the roots and restart them in water, which I might do. If they suffer any more than they already are suffering, that's what I'll do. So we'll see. But anyway, get a load of that. Cryptanthus in water, healthy as can be. Like this, look at this. Looks like a Dracaena or something. Or Sansevieria, even though they're not Dracaena, whatever, Sansevieria. It does look like that, right? Doesn't it? Kind of. And in water. I'm just so excited. I'm so proud of this plant. And yeah, we got to name her. So I'll take suggestions in the comments. All right, next up, what else can I show you? All right, so as you know, if you've been following, you know that I like to grow, sometimes I like to grow my succulents in water culture. It's easier for me, especially any type of a Graptopedilum or Graptopedilum hybrids, intergeneric, as long as there's some genetics of Graptopedilum in them, usually they do good. Now, first thing I'm going to say is you always hear people say if you're going to propagate your succulents, like let's say take cuttings, not leaf cuttings, but like stem cuttings or multiple heads, if you're going to cut them off the plant, they always say to let them heal over before you plant them, so that the cut end scars, heals, and it isn't open to infection. Now, my belief, and this is just me, is that is true if you're going to plant them in soil, because soil has all kinds of stuff in it. It's got fungus, it's got bacteria, it's got all kinds of stuff. But, comma, if you are going to put them in water culture, you don't have to wait. I've heard people say, yeah, if you give them too much water, the leaves will swell up and explode because they don't know when to stop uptaking water. Like, not true. That's not true. I've had that happen to a point. Like when I've put new plants into water culture, sometimes the older leaves will swell up and get really like mushy, but they were already on their way out anyway. The newer leaves don't do that. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute, but I want to show you this one because this one I just took a fresh cutting off a plant and I stuck it in water, and I didn't get roots coming out of the nodes. I got roots coming out of the cut end. Did you hear what I just said? The cut end. Look at this. The cut end. See that? How unusual is that? Usually you'll get roots up on the stem where the nodes are. I'll take it out and show you. How about that? So look at this. The roots are only coming out of the cut end. I find that so exciting and so cool and so interesting because you never see that. You see them coming out, around the stem where there are nodes. This plant has not lost any leaves. It's healthy as can be. I'm not sure even what this is. This is either a Graptosedum or a Grape Varia. I don't know. It's not a plain old Graptopedilum because I have tons of Graptopedilum. I have almost all of the species for Graptopedilum, and this looks like a hybrid. It looks like an intergeneric hybrid. I don't even know. I could speculate, but either Graptopedilum or Graptosedum. But I love the shape of the leaves, very spade shaped, right? The coloring is a bluish gray with like a purple hue, a hint of purple on it, but that's only because it's not in any direct sun. It's not in any bright light here. But this particular plant doesn't tend to get leggy, even though there's not a lot of light, because the mother plant I took this from, all of the growth points are like this, and it's not in full sun. This is not in any light at all. It's like very, very dim north-facing window light, like let's say 4 feet away from the north-facing window. So you can see it's not really stretching, and it's been here for quite some time. But really, the reason why I wanted to show you this is because if you don't let them callus over and you put them in water, this is what you can expect. Now, I'm going to show you something else now. The thing I was talking about just before, this plant is an intergeneric hybrid. I always put the name on the bottom. What is this? This is Grape Varia. I can't pronounce this. Something like that. So this plant, I cut off most of the roots, not all of them. because I know that a lot of times the soil roots will start to rot when they're in water. But as you can see, from those roots, it grew new roots. Those are the whitish, clearish roots. Okay. Now, if you see here, the new growth, beautiful, healthy, all of that, I'd say one, two, three, probably four of those leaves on the inside are brand new. It's been here for a while. This leaf here is getting ready to fall off, as is this one. And actually, what's interesting is these aren't swelling up like the other ones did. There were two other leaves that were old that swelled up and got mushy, kind of like it was a plant that was overwatered in soil. But I'm thinking they were old leaves, and it's because partially I had partial soil roots on this cutting. But now that the new roots are growing in, the new water roots, the new growth is healthy as can be. Look at that. And when I do put this in full sun, I'm excited to see what color it is. I think it's going to be like a reddish purple. I'm not sure because I can't remember. I looked it up on the internet, but again, I can't pronounce it. Let me see if I can pronounce it. Ready? Uh, I can't pronounce it, and I can't. These glasses are not very good, so sorry. But anyway, it is a Grape Varia hybrid in waterculture, and you could see the new roots when I move it around like that are growing in there. Looks like a jellyfish, right? All right. Anyway, fun stuff, right? All right, something else I want to show you guys. Okay, so first of all, I love growing in acrylic yarn. It's something that I do that I just started doing on a whim, and it became an experiment. And then the plants did really well. So I have like not half, but maybe 1/3 of my collection of plants are in acrylic yarn, and they love it and they do great. So you also know that I love Plectranthus plants. Plectranthus is a genus of plants in the mint family, kind of like a relative of Coleus, and they have fragrant leaves. One variety, one species is the Cuban oregano, Mexican mint. It's also called, smells like really, really strong oregano or thyme. And I have that too. But this one is the duckfoot Plectranthus. And what I did was, because I love like miniature trees and bonsais and things like that, I decided to use sake cups. Those little cups that you drink sake out of. I love collecting them, especially from thrift stores, because they're very, very cheap and they're cute and they're little and they have like nice designs on them sometimes. And this was the first time I ever did this, but it worked out really well. I put some acrylic yarn in the cup, the sake cup, moistened it down, and took a cutting off of one of my Plectranthus, which was the duckfoot Plectranthus, and I stuck it in, didn't even wilt. And now look at this. First of all, look at the cup. It's got a little picture of like a pine bonsai on it, right? Really, really cute little cup. And I'm not going to say where it's made. Actually, I can't tell you where it's made because it's in another language, some Asian language. But look at how the plant is thriving. And I've got growth points coming out all over the place, and it's growing taller. So the first one I did, this isn't the first one I did. The first one I did really well. And I said, you know what? I want more of these because my duckfoot Plectranthus is getting a little out of hand. It was just kind of growing like crazy. So I took a bunch of cuttings. I love my chopstick. Oh, appropriate. Anyway, so I took a bunch of cuttings of my duckfoot Plectranthus and I put them in with the yarn, and they're all doing phenomenally well. Again, I always say this: I don't use cotton because it's organic and it potentially could rot. I've had mold on both cotton yarn when I tried that and on wool, because wool is a protein. It's a hair pretty much from the sheep. So anything like that, I kind of stray away from, and I use inorganic, which is, I've done polyester, but this one is acrylic. I like acrylic better. The acrylic that I get a hold of is softer, more absorbent, and it holds water for longer without being sopping wet. And I like the colors that I have at the store that I get them at. So how cool is that, though? And the great thing about it, I'm not going to turn this upside down like I did last week, because if you watched last week's video, you know what happened. The plant fell out, but it's fine. Nothing happened. But I don't want to do that again. So I'm not going to turn it upside down. But how cool is that? Now, another great thing about using the acrylic is you don't need drainage holes at the bottom. This has no drainage. So what I do when I need to water it, being that this acrylic yarn holds water for so long, it's amazing to me. I don't know why or how, but it like, I watered it once, and at the end of the week, it was still like I had just watered it, but not sopping wet. It was just nicely damp or moist, whatever you want to call it. So the good thing about it is when you water these guys, I fill it up with water, make sure that the acrylic yarn is completely saturated. I dump out the extra water, and then you're good for the week, maybe even longer. It really depends on the type of cup, glass, pot you have it in, and how much of the acrylic yarn is in there. Yeah, because if this was in, let's say, terracotta, it would dry really quickly because terracotta breathes. It seeps the water through. It's porous and it evaporates. The water evaporates a lot quicker because of that. But because this is in a glazed little sake cup, that doesn't happen. And just look at how cute this is. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna continue to bonsai it. I'm gonna cut the top when it gets just a little bit taller, and I'm gonna make it into a little tree. All right, and I'll take you along for the ride. Um, there are a bunch of other things that I've gotten, and I'm sure that a lot of you are not interested because I know there aren't that many succulent lovers here. But I have started to continue to expand my sedum collection because I love sedum, especially the sedum like Adelphi, whatever you call it. There's so many different varieties of it that the growth patterns are different, the shape of the leaves, the color. Here's one that I just got. Look at how cool this is. The leaves are more blunt than the typical golden sedum. And this one is uh, sedum Adelphi marmalade. So this is marmalade. I really love this one, right? And just to give you an idea of the differences between them, that's sedum marmalade. This one is sedum sunstorm, right? Yeah, sunstorm. So you could see, let me put them together. I got to hold the microphone. The leaves are slightly different in shape and the coloring, right? So these are more narrow, these are more blunt. And I really love the way that these guys grow because they grow kind of like clusters, except the pups or the growth points are not at the base. They're kind of higher up on the stem. Here's a good example. This one is shooting stars. See them shooting stars? Look at that. So it's like all packed with new growth coming out of the sides. I love that. I love it. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to show you all of those because I have a million of them here, but I just wanted to let it be known that I love sedum. Anyway, I think that's all for this video because I could go on and on. If I had my way, I would never let you guys shut the video off. So I'm going to let you guys go. If you have any questions about any of the plants that I've shown you, any of the growing methods that I've been using, and or any questions at all, or in propagation too, if you have any questions about the Rex Beagonia propagation, I have plenty of old videos about this, exactly what I did here in water, and I'm just keeping this in water. I'm so excited. Reach out. We'll talk. I can also direct you to those videos if you can't find them because they're probably like 2 years old at this point. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about plants, everybody, because what else is there besides plants in the world? I mean, let's be real. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.